Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Arknights reaction, and no, I have not heard Mare Natus yet, so I'm going to listen to that one today as requested by HIWTYLSL. I don't think there's any better way to say that name, so there are the letters. Anyway, I'm gonna be listening to this. I don't know the event that this one was apparently a part of, the rerun at very least, so like I don't have any context for that, but I do know that the name means like Born of the Sea or something to that effect, so I suppose that gives me a hint as to what to expect in the sound, but I guess I won't really know if I don't listen. So without further ado, let's go! I was correct. The second the tone kind of settled in. Ooh. The little whispers. Little Latin bits in there, I think. Is that a tongue drum in there? There's like a... I don't think it's like a kalimba. It sounds like wooden and hollow. Maybe it's percussion on a hand pan, because I do hear a hand pan in there. It has this like kind of hollow wood, but there's also like that metallic energy. Can't quite tell. Xylophone maybe? Hard mallets? Really like the vocal layering going on too. They're really like filling up the space with the vocals. Lots of layering. Crazy amounts of reverb as well. Like a low kick that's in here too. That it's really deep in there. I love that chord change. Really let that harmonic resonance hang. There was a lot of like stacking. There was so much harmonic stacking in there, and then just to resolve it at the end of the phrase like that and just wipe completely like most of the vocal layers. Ooh, that was really cool. This is one of those songs where you can tell that the composer just ran with it. Like every single time they added a layer of drums or a layer of vocals, they're like, I think there could be more, and they kept pushing that envelope. Chris Brocato, by the way, I think that's how the name is probably supposed to be said, but also I want to call him Brocato, because it sounds more fun. So, what's up, Brocato? How's it going? Amazing work here, dude. Fantastic composition. I doubt he's gonna see this, but it's just like damn, dude. I mean, the harmonic balance, again, I cannot get over that. How many tight harmonies there were in this song, and keeping those together is something I always respect when it comes to any composer, because that is so difficult to do without stepping on the toes and adding so much dissonance that you lose the plot, you know? Like, this is a very, very tight song, but again, it's knowing when to get rid of certain layers and certain notes in order to make things resolve. Just getting rid of that extra room that's being taken up and allowing things to finalize as it needs to at the end of a phrase. And this song does that multiple times very well, especially there at the end when all of that tightness was starting to be a little bit overwhelming before he just kind of gets rid of it. And the vocals, super ethereal here as well. Love that energy, always fits for that underwater vibe totally. I think the number of layers again is insane. I think I can hear a male vocal and a female vocal. It might be pitched, but maybe that's Chris and this other vocalist. There was no vocalist credited for this one, so maybe it was just an uncredited vocal bank, which would be very impressive, or they just had a friend do it and they didn't want any credit, which does happen sometimes, especially when you're like doing things for, you know, a freelance project, or even as part of a group sometimes. Like if you're part of a firm that does music, you just have hired guns within the studio, or you have friends that you pull in that just help you out, and that's all you really need. And this is just such a cool sound because, oh, what a beautiful voice. Like the perfect tone to be able to handle those really thin higher notes, but also that resonant tone in the bottom, like that mid and low range. I think that's where he like needed to use the male voice too, because he wouldn't have had all of that low range with just the female voice unless she had phenomenal range, and that is a lot to ask sometimes. But again, the way it was balanced and handled added this extra body to the sound, and it really made you feel like you were drowning at points, which fits totally, obviously. Again, just working with that motif of the water and what would that sound like. I think that's where all of the percussion came from as well. Just a lot of those percussive instruments in there were just mostly things that felt like water droplets, you know? Like that's why I think that there was a tongue drum in there. There was probably like a xylophone or marimba somewhere in there. Definitely a handpan in there. Just these things that if you play them with the right mallets, it would definitely have that effect of just being this like hard, clunky but also hollow sound. These tubed instruments or long chambers, big hollow percussion is really all you need for wanting that underwater or just water tone in general. And just again, phenomenal balance here. Some of those chord changes too were absolutely diabolical. Like the one that I really like there, that shift up, and then it almost, I don't know if it was a key change, but it like changed the feel of the song. It went from like minor to a major maybe, but oh god, just like keeping that again under control and being sure that these other notes and clusters aren't going to step on each other and cause problems harmonically, even though you do want a little bit of tension for something like this, which it definitely had. A lot of very close harmonies like I've been talking about, but there wasn't so much that it ever got lost, you know? You really could tell where the song was going and where the progression in the melody was going and where the harmonies were supposed to land. It was all really neat. Like beginning to end, I was able to immediately pick up the vibe, and where it ended is exactly where I was hoping it was going to, with like this kind of loose resolution. It wasn't like a full resolution where you're like, the song's over. It kind of lets you hang just a little bit. It kind of just goes, and there's still a little bit of tension, but not so much that it feels like they were purposefully trying to keep you on edge. They want you to be thinking by the end of the song, but not necessarily sitting here in high suspense like, oh, we're gonna do something. And it's a completely different vibe. So again, Chris, fantastic job here. I mean, phenomenal work on balancing everything. I don't know if I've ever heard something from Chris. I might have. Maybe the name kind of does look familiar, but maybe that's just from the other songs I have heard before. It could be a composer thing, or maybe he's helped out somebody else who was like a main composer and he was like an assistant of some sort. Either way, though, brilliant job. The mixing of everything and being able to master all of that and really not let any of it get lost is really what always gets me for these, like I've talked about before. So, man, there's got to be more to this event. I'm actually really excited to hear more from this collection, like this event, if there is more music related to this. It's been a while since I've heard stuff with this sort of musical motif and like going for that water vibe, which I always love. It's like a personal favorite of mine. So if you have anything from this that I haven't heard yet, by all means, drop in the comments below. Or if you want to request something else from Arknights that I haven't heard yet, by all means, do that. Whatever is the most popular is usually what I get to next. So thank you all so very much for watching, and actually, if you're still watching this, I'm probably going to be streaming Enfield here very soon. I was accepted into the beta in the creators program, so I'm going to be doing streams on that for the next foreseeable future. So if you want to watch me do that and probably flail around not having a clue what the fuck I'm doing, then you know how to follow me and support me and all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!